Deadly truck crashes like these are increasing each year in Texas, more than anywhere else in the country. And critics say a new state law is making it tougher to sue trucking companies after a crash. KXAN investigator Matt Grant found lobbyists looking to go even further in the upcoming legislative session with an issue already fueling controversy.
Doesn't seem real. Still almost impossible to accept.
This month marks 6 years.
Gave them both hugs and told them I loved them.
Since a truck accident took the life of Jay Rosenberg's wife, Leslie, and their 19-year-old daughter, Sophie. According to the crash report, a truck driver failed to yield the right-of-way at a stop sign, even though he said he saw them.
And they said there was an accident. And I said, how serious? And I go, both your wife and your daughter passed away. I just couldn't believe it.
If HB 19 passes, I firmly believe that more accidents like the one that took my precious wife and daughter from our world will continue to occur.
In 2021, Rosenberg testified against House Bill 19 before it became law. It split civil cases involving commercial vehicles into 2 trials, where a jury must first find the driver negligent before considering if the company carries any blame. Austin attorney Sean Breen is seeing the impact.
Under HB 19, a muzzle is put on the family, in this case my client, and they're not allowed to talk about the negligent hiring, the negligent training.
Breen represents a teacher seriously hurt when the driver of a concrete truck, who police say admitted smoking marijuana and using cocaine hours before, crashed into a school bus in March, killing 2, including a 5-year-old. Federal officials say he was prohibited from operating a commercial vehicle at the time after previously testing positive for cocaine. Information about his driving status, Breen says a jury now can't know unless the trial moves to a second phase.
And at some point they would learn this after they determine that the driver is responsible for the.
Maybe someday the jury will hear about it, but by then it's too late. The confusion and the delay has done its harm. We have a saying amongst the victims that we represent: justice delayed is justice denied.
According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, in 2022, nearly 6,000 people were killed in truck crashes. In Texas, 17% of all fatal crashes involved a large truck, exceeding the national average. The stats have grown over the past decade, with crashes like this from Bell County in May. The driver, allegedly texting, struck and killed 66-year-old Tracy Rambosek. Police are reviewing this video. Her husband filed a wrongful death lawsuit, accusing the driver and company of negligence.
He wants justice for his family, and that's all he can get at this point because his wife is gone.
It's a very hard job.
At this Williamson County rest stop, we met Richard Barber, a trucker for almost 30 years.
You don't want to hurt nobody, ever.
Recently, he says insurance reps have attended his company's safety classes to offer advice on how to avoid being sued.
He gave us a wide range of things that we could get sued for that none of us really would have thought about.
On his mind now, safety and the rising cost of insurance.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It's hurting you?
It's hurting all the companies, yeah.
These grossly inflated verdicts are driving up insurance costs.
Those costs cited as one reason for HB 19. But since 2021, the year the law took effect, commercial auto rates have increased. On average, nearly 17%.
I believe that it's still going to take time to see whether HB 19 is going to be effective.
John Esparza is president and CEO of the Texas Trucking Association. He pushed to get HB 19 passed, claiming juries can be biased, medical bills inflated, and large verdicts devastating.
And it's not just about these 18-wheelers. What we're talking about is a community of business interest all over the state.
He's part of a new business coalition called the Lone Star Economic Alliance, whose website likens some civil suits to being held for ransom. The alliance wants to expand HB 19 to potentially include caps on pain and suffering for all civil lawsuits, regulating how medical bills are presented to juries, and restricting when a jury can hear if a driver was drunk or unlicensed. In a brief to the Texas Supreme Court appealing a $100 million verdict, Texans for Lawsuit Reform says it also wants claims for negligent hiring and retention jettisoned altogether, and inadequate training only brought up in unusual circumstances.
Your critics will say HB 19 and these other measures are meant to just protect and shield businesses over the expense of victims. What would you say to them?
Sure, I'd say that the frivolous lawsuit environment is an absolute business for these attorneys that prey on business creators, job creators in this state.
Do you feel that the majority of the lawsuits are frivolous?
A good number of them are.
I have one question for them. Have you no shame?
Consumer advocate Ware Wendell with the nonpartisan group Texas Watch believes the proposals would make our roads more dangerous.
There is no reason for a trucking special privileges bill in this state, and there's certainly no reason to expand it. It's going to take our roads, which are already the most deadly in the country far and away, and make them even less safe.
It basically is, in my opinion, a license for the trucking companies to not care.
Rosenberg agrees. The driver in his case was never arrested or charged with a crime. His wrongful death lawsuit settled before HB 19 took effect, a process he wishes he never had to endure, a pursuit of justice he fears would be harder today.
It's immeasurable, the impact they would have continued to have. There's nothing frivolous, even close to frivolous, about their loss, about anybody's loss.
It's unclear what direct impact the law has on insurance rates. The Texas Department of Insurance is tasked with studying that, and a new report is expected December 1st. Representative Jeff Leach authored HB 19. We reached out to his office to ask about these new proposals, but did not hear back. In Austin, Matt Grant, KXAN Investigates.